Welcome.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
This is your number one podcast for ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties. Bringing you everything you need to know about things that go bump in the night and interviewing the personalities behind them. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Now, here are your hosts, your ghost hosts, Scott and Julie.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. We're so glad you're here, and I am so glad I have a co-host again this week.
I'm back.
How you feeling? You're feeling better though?
So much better, better. I was fighting a bout of pneumonia, unfortunately, but luckily, here in Boston, great doctors, great emergency services. Yeah. So I am back on my feet again.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yes.
So our guest tonight, I'm hoping that she's going to be here. We've confirmed Michelle Belanger. I'm hoping she's going to show up. I don't know if she's having a problem with her internet or whatever. They've confirmed that they will be here, but they're not here right now. And so we're just going to go. What do you think, Julie? I think we can find something to talk about until she shows up.
We usually do, Scott.
We usually find something to talk about. Not all of it's appropriate for YouTube, but it's okay.
Scott, curb yourself, okay?
I'll try my best.
We're trying to keep this PG-13. We're going for the PG-13. We could hit the R. That would be okay. But,
Right. Nothing. That's it. That's where we stop.
That's it. That's because my daughter might be listening,
Yes. Now we know she watches the show, so we have to be careful with this stuff. I think we should talk, since we're waiting for Michelle. We were talking before the show about a very interesting situation, and I don't want to give any names because we don't want to talk about, any specifics or anything like that, because we don't like to talk about, cases and people that we're associated with. But I would love to see what the people who are listening, if they are investigators, if they have anything to do with this, what they might think. Right. So
I think it's a great idea to put it out. I was going to suggest we put it out there and see if anyone has any suggestions or possibly has come across this in their investigating world.
Right. Because, truly, as we said, this is so out in left field. It's not something I've ever heard of before.
Same here. And I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a call from a woman who had moved into an apartment that there had been several deaths there. Now, I don't know if they were violent deaths or what the circumstances were, but she was not surprised that she had some paranormal activity going on in the residence.
Right.
And then she went to the beach and she was digging in the sand and she found a box or some kind of container. And she opened it up and she found human remains, like ashes, cremated remains. And so she covered it right back up. She put it down in the ground. And ever since that moment, she feels like she has had an attachment. What's odd about this and what makes this really strange is not the attachment so much. It's that it's attached to her leg. Now, I didn't ask her, Julie, if she has an artificial leg, because then I could say, okay, where'd you get the leg? That could be a thing. But if it's her real leg,
Scott,
that's the only thing I can think of.
Thinking about this, it is something that's very different. It really is. And so the thing is that I have a whole lot of questions for her as to, does she normally go, as we're talking about this, a bunch of questions are coming up. Does she normally go to the beach and dig in the sand? We're talking about an adult woman. Is she one of those people that does metal finding, or was this something that's unusual for her to go to the beach? Did she feel compelled to go to the beach and dig in the sand? So there are so many questions I have to ask. And again, you just got the phone call. We haven't had a chance to investigate any kind of background on her or investigate the home situation whatsoever. But it's something that we never have come across before. But here's the kicker. Scott.
No pun intended.
So
Get it? No.
perhaps there was, sir. Do not underestimate my dry sense of
Neither one of us
humor.
can afford to be laughing right now. It'll stop the show. So.
I know, this is true. We'll both be laughing.
Oh my God.
So here's the thing. This woman sent Scott 4-5 pictures of her leg. Scott sent them to me. And in the last picture, I looked at the leg and looked at Scott and said, Scott, I know it's pareidolia, but I see a freaking face in the picture of her leg. So I don't know. Again, we don't know who she is. We don't know anything about this, anything about the photos whatsoever.
No. And I did ask her, because she said at first her house had something going on in there.
Right.
And I asked her, are you only having this feeling that you have this attachment at home? She said, oh no, it's with me wherever I go. And when she's sitting calm, her leg seems to do its own thing. It feels heavy or whatever. And I said, could it be restless leg? Have you gone to the doctor? She says, I've been to the doctor. There's nothing. I've called my priest. He's come and blessed the place. She says, I'm kind of at a loss and I don't really know what to do. She says, I really don't have any idea what to do. And she sounds perfectly credible. I mean, if you talk to her, it's not like you're saying, oh, this one's wacky. I mean, I don't feel like that at all. We had a pleasant conversation. It's just, I've never heard of that. And so I'm curious if anyone else has ever heard of a body part being attached, if there's an attachment to a particular body part. And for whatever reason, she thinks it's
here's something that just kind of crossed my mind. Is it possible she does have an attachment, but the being or spirit that's attached to her had a leg problem?
Well,
and this is how, this is how spirit is making itself known, is showing her the problem with the leg. I mean, like you say, we don't know. We're just kind of throwing it out there to our audience. Does anybody have any ideas? But that just sort of crossed my mind, is that, we jokingly said, you said, is it possible? Does she have, does she have an artificial limb? Is it an artificial leg? Is it possible that the attachment did have it, an amputated leg and is coming across that way? I mean, I know it all sounds so out there, but the possibilities could.
And you made me think of something else too, just because, those of us who do psychic work, mediumship work, some of the messages we get come through us to our body. So sometimes you can feel tightening around the neck or whatever it might be, right?
Yes.
Could that be, like you said, a spirit that had this problem with the leg, that maybe she's developing some sort of sensitivity and doesn't know it? Because let's face it, if you don't know what's going on, you also can't control it.
Exactly. So, maybe it's far-fetched. Let's see. Has she had any organ replacement, not just the leg? We don't know, Christina.
That's interesting, Christina. I don't know.
That's a good question. Something that definitely Scott and I should ask her about.
That is a really good question, though, because it's funny, Christina, I had seen a show on that, and I don't remember where I watched it. I don't know if it was Netflix or one of those shows where the woman or the man, now I can't even tell you who it was. That's how bad I am. But they had organ replacement. They had an organ transplant, and it was like they took on, there was part of that person within them, and they were sharing certain weird memories, and it was almost like a reincarnation story, but it wasn't that they were reincarnated. It was like all of a sudden they had memories of things they never did. It was all coming through to them. So, honestly, I think it's fascinating,
It is fascinating. I mean, if the caller is watching, where we want you to definitely know that we're taking this seriously. We just don't know what it is. So we're trying to help you, trying to figure out what could possibly be going on. And
Right.
so that's a really good question that when we talk with her, we will ask her.
Yeah, and these are things, at the time I wasn't able to really have a conversation, with her because I was with other people, and so it was sort of a quick conversation. But I asked her the basic things that kind of came to me at the moment. But I like that. Christina's also saying here that she believes we hold muscle memory. Memories are in our very cells, and I believe that's true.
An athlete
Absolutely.
will tell you that. Any athlete will tell you that muscle does have memory. That's why athletes find it very important to do the same kind of exercises
Right.
over and over again, because that does happen.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. I don't think we're going to solve it here, but I do think it's a fascinating story. Also, I'm so glad Christina's here because you know Christina, right?
Yes.
Julie, yeah. Christina and I are going to be investigating the Randolph County Infirmary on Sunday night in Indiana. So we have an event. We have an event there at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne on Sunday, but it's just going to be 4 of us, me and Christina, and there are two girls that she's driving with, and we are going to the Randolph County Infirmary, which she said is like off the charts. 4 people. Well, you know what it's like. You and I went to Madison Seminary, and it's this great big place with just 3 people in it.
That place is off the charts.
Off
Absolutely.
the charts, crazy. And she says this one's the same way. Disembodied voices and all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
So cool. Let's see. Bob Blackmore says, did I hear that correctly? She was digging at the beach and found human remains. No, Bob. She found an urn with ashes, and she quickly replaced the urn, put it back where she found it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it wasn't like she found a body.
Right.
She just
or a
found,
leg. Right. Not
yeah,
that I mean to make light of this. I'm sorry. No, but yes.
no, she just found ashes. And people do that. They scatter at the beach, and they don't
Of
usually
course.
bury the urn, but who knows? Somebody may have just gone out at some point and done that.
Right. Exactly. Oh, Christina's asking if you like haunted dolls.
Uh-oh.
Fun.
Yeah, you know what that means. And Christina, I don't know if you've ever been to Madison Cemetery, but that room, who is it, like Sarah's room with all the dolls and everything in it? Oh yeah, I'm sure
And
it's.
the one that
Why do they always have dolls? You thought about that?
like I said, Matt and I were talking about haunted dolls. He hates them too. And I just said dolls. Why'd it have to be
Have
dolls?
to be dolls,
I
right?
hate dolls, Matt.
I hate dolls.
I never liked them as a child either. I don't know if it's because I was, a psychic, or, even as a child, I had abilities. I never liked dolls. Never would play with them. My mother put one on the shelf. We had a bookcase beds, and she put a doll up there. Excuse me. Pneumonia's coming back. Anyway, she put one up there, and I had to take it down and drop it onto the floor because I felt like it was watching me all night. I don't like dolls.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Well, we never had them around because it was just myself and my brother. I think I had a big Jim doll back in the 1970s. He had his camper and, G.I. Joe.
Okay, like G.I. Joe type guy.
Yeah, G.I. Joe kind of guy. That's
Gotcha,
it. We
gotcha.
didn't really, there was none of that in the house. And my mother wasn't dolly or girly like that. So we never had them. But, they always find the ones that look the most decrepit. You know what I mean? The darkened faces, blackened eyes, all that kind of stuff. And they throw them in these haunted places.
Right, exactly. Why? Why make it even worse by blacking out the eyes? I mean, seriously.
Well, we've been to Paracons, right? Weren't we at the, there was a Paracon on the USS Salem, and they actually took perfectly decent dolls and made them look haunted.
And make them look ghost-like, and made them look like the black-eyed children.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy. Yes.
Let's see. I'm getting you both some elderberry syrup and pine tincture to get rid of that cough. Oh my God, Christina, you have no idea. I've had this cough. I don't know. I mean, it's been weeks and weeks and weeks.
The pollen here is so bad right now.
So bad right now.
And I'm unfortunately, just recovering from pneumonia. So that's where my cough is. And I was actually taking elderberry, and it didn't help.
Oh, were you really?
I was taking a daily vitamin with elderberry in it, but you know, I mean, if that bacteria is going to get you, it's going to get you. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. It seems like whenever I get a cough, it lasts forever. And then I just can't seem to get rid of it.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you. And then the tree pollen the past couple of days doesn't help at all. It's been bad.
No,
It's been bad. So
not at
let's go
all.
back to dolls and
Yeah,
black-eyed
that's
children.
all.
What do you know about black-eyed children? That whole mythical black-eyed children
I
thing.
made a few of them when I was little, but
You made black-eyed. Oh, good
no,
Lord!
I didn't. I was a very
You were
nice
the
kid. I never
schoolyard
did
bully,
that.
Scott. I could see it in your eyes.
No, I was. I was a good kid. I never did that. But that's the only black-eyed children I know.
I just didn't know. I don't know a whole lot about the theory, but apparently, they cannot. They want to claim your soul, but the theory is that they will knock at your door or at your window and ask to come in. And you may not be able to see the black eyes. You'll just see a child. And so you'll invite the child in. And it's kind of demon like. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's sort of demon like. And basically, my understanding is its purpose is to claim your soul.
All right, you made me think of something else because that is kind of creepy, and
It's
I don't know
creepy,
much
right?
about them,
Right.
but I do. I've got to shift gears a little bit while we're talking about this kind of stuff. So Maria says they're dressed poorly and asked to come in. Yeah,
See, yes, to
interesting.
get your pity. Yes, right.
It's a good thing neither one of us are empaths. We'd be safe, huh? Get off my
Oh
damn porch.
boy.
Yeah.
I just look at it and go, I know you.
I know.
Go away.
No, you know what's fascinating, and it has nothing to do with that at all. But I was just having this conversation with someone recently. These men in black, because I feel like it's the same kind of idea, but
Yes. Yes.
you weren't there. You didn't see the men in black when we were in Scotland together.
No, I was busy being on the bus and coming down with COVID the last day.
I don't know how I escaped that, but
You or Barbara and I roomed together. I don't know how Barbara escaped it. I'm glad she did, but
thank God.
yeah,
But we
seriously.
were at Bonnie Bridge. Now, did you see the helicopter? You were talking to
I
the
did.
man
I
with the
saw
demon
one
witch stick.
helicopter at Bonnie Bridge, and I
Okay,
talked to that man who gave me the witch stick.
the demon witch stick of Bonnie
Yeah, the
Bridge.
demon witch stick of Bonnie Bridge, and he was the one that told us that he
Yeah.
sees them all the time. His farm was up on a hill. The
Mhm.
farmhouse was up on the hill, and he said, "Look up there, and that's where you'll see them." Which was, if you think about it, that was kind of strange. That suddenly this man appears and pulls out. People were just driving across the bridge. He stopped to ask us what we were doing. He had his child or a boy and two working dogs in the car and
Huh.
stopped and asked me what we were doing. And I told him. And that's when he got out of the car and started talking about what he sees. And he pointed out his farmhouse, which was, I don't know, I'm a city girl. 1 mile could be 10 miles to me, but it was far away. And it was a kind of on a hill and there was a house. And he had said that they see them all the time up
The
there
UFOs?
from the
Well, the
house.
UFOs. Yeah.
UFOs from the house all
It's
the
supposed to
time.
be the place with the most UFO activity in Scotland, I think, is right there.
Yes, I think so. I think that I'm pretty sure that's what Andrea had said when we were talking with her.
Well,
Yeah.
and this is funny too, and I think I told you this. My son at the time was 8 or no, 9. He had just turned 9. And with the time difference, he had just woken up and he would call me in the morning. It was like 6 in the morning here in the States. And he called me up and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, we're on this bridge and we're walking to the bridge. Actually, we hadn't even got to the bridge yet.
Right.
We're walking to the bridge and we're going to look for UFOs because there's supposed to be a lot of UFOs here." I said, "But I don't know if we'll see any." He said, "Just look for the cows. They'll be above the cows."
Yes, I remember that.
And we walked onto the bridge and there
And
were the
there were the
cows.
cows. There were the cows. It was
And I
crazy.
thought, oh
And
my God.
and the man's farmhouse was above the cow field.
Yeah.
because he had come down. He owned all of that land, he told me, and he had come down to his lower fields to check on his cows in the lower field because he moves them every couple of days. And so, I mean, who knows? You could say it's coincidence, but how many things happen until it's not coincidence anymore?
And here's the other weird thing. I never saw the choppers.
I saw one.
I
Only
never
one.
saw it, though. I mean, I know
Right.
some people said there was more. I don't know. I didn't see any. I saw
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Never
yeah.
heard it. And I know I'm deaf, but I'm not that deaf. I would have heard a
Right.
helicopter coming over. I never saw it. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we went to the cave, and I can't think of what the cave is. Now, you have to imagine that this road is so narrow that you can barely fit one car. And we couldn't get the motor coach down it.
Right.
And so we parked and we walked down this lane. And on the left was a cemetery with an old church. And on the right was cornfields. And when you turned in around the church, you'd go out in the back and you'd go down into this cave. And that was where these fairies supposedly lived. That's a big part of their culture in Scotland. So we spent some time down in the cave. We climbed back out. And Andrea Perrin and I, for those of you who know Andrea, we were sitting having a conversation while she was having her cigarette break. And there was,
Presence, Andrea.
and out of nowhere, a black SUV with black tinted windows came flying down the lane. I mean, at a high rate of speed. There was a little parking lot by the church. I mean, very little. Pulled in, spun around, stopped for a moment, and we could see two men in black suits in the front window, and then off they went. They were gone again. So first the black chopper with no identification, nothing, and then we saw the men in black. And I have no idea where they came from. I mean, we were in the middle of nowhere. It's not like we were downtown Edinburgh.
Right.
We were in the middle of nowhere.
Literally the middle of nowhere. Absolutely. Yes. The only thing there was the church. And then down the road, just a short bit down the road, was the castle, the old castle.
Which one was that? Which castle?
The last castle we were in. But, oh my gosh.
I know there's so many. I don't know.
The laird was there. He was an older man.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, Balgoni
Castle.
Balgoni. Balgoni.
Yes. Barbara's here, right, Barbara? Balgoni Castle.
Speaking of Balgoni Castle, next week, fingers crossed, we're chatting with Ryan O'Neill from Haunted Scotland on A&E. And we investigated with him.
We did.
We investigated with him when we were in Scotland at Balgoni Castle. So he's going to be on the show joining us next week. Can't wait. Can't wait. Scotland was a trip.
I've been watching Haunted Scotland, and it's just an awesome show. It's
and when you know the people too, it's kind of cool.
It is very cool. Exactly. Yeah. So
our friend Rick McCallum, who was on our show, he's the founder of Hollywood Ghost Hunters.
Yes.
And the stuntman in Hollywood. But he's going back this summer. He's going to be there this summer.
Yeah, I guess he goes back all the time.
He does.
Yeah. Yep.
And he was just looking for hotels in Glasgow.
Anyone who's just joined us, I see there's a few. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Marion. Michelle Belanger was scheduled to be on the show tonight, but something took place. Possibly, she did confirm. Possibly, she's having internet trouble. So we're just sort of.
She's okay because she did confirm, and I know Chanel, our producer, has reached out to her as well. So hopefully, we'll figure out if she's okay. We'll get her back on the show another time.
So we're just kind of chatting. So if there's anything you want to talk about, any questions, anything you'd like to chat about, just write it in the comments, and we will be glad to talk with you about it. Or tell you, give you our limited knowledge on all things paranormal.
And Barbara, I think she's just joining us. I mean, she should have been here for that first conversation. She could help us get a leg up on the situation.
Oh, good Lord. She has no idea what you're talking about now.
The haunted leg of Massachusetts, or wherever she is. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. The poor woman. Seriously.
The poor woman. Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah.
but we were hoping tonight to be talking with Michelle again about demons. She is the writer of the Dictionary of Demons.
Yeah.
If anyone remembers Paranormal State, which I loved, I think it's probably one of the first shows on A&E was Paranormal State. Or if not first, second, definitely the second to Ghost Hunters. But I think Paranormal State was probably about the same time. So she was the psychic on call for Paranormal State,
Yeah.
and she's done some very cool stuff.
And
She's
also with Jack Osborne as well. She was on
yes,
Portals to Hell, and I think she's been filming with him again. I know a few people have. Chip Coffey's been filmed with him at some point within
okay.
the last year or so. So I think they're doing something else,
Mhm.
and she was part of that as well. Christina's
Right.
asking, what was the most frightening paranormal thing you've ever experienced?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I think Barbara Halliday can attest to this. She and I were on a team, and we were called to do a local investigation for a family. And it was a grandfather that had passed away who was a pedophile. And the woman who asked us to come was the great aunt who was one of his victims. She had given the house to her nephew because she didn't have any children. Her nephew had two young girls, and a lot of things were happening in the house, a lot of things that can't be explained. And the cellar was very, very scary to the wife. She wouldn't go down there and do the laundry by herself. She was afraid. She felt like she was being watched all the time. Um, so what prompted them to call us was that they had a photograph of the two little girls in front of the Christmas tree, and in between the two little girls' faces was the face of the grandfather.
Oh boy.
So it was pretty frightening. It was definitely a case that, we all went in saying we had to take it seriously. We really didn't know what this is. But what had happened to me being a psychic was I didn't have any background on the family until the day of. The night before, I had a quote dream premonition from this is Barbara. She remembers it quite well because we were sitting waiting for the rest of the team, and I told Barbara that something or someone came to me in my dream and was chasing me through the cemetery, which was across the street from where we were meeting, which was 2 blocks from the house itself. This thing was chasing me, and I was using everything that I could, telling it to get away from me. Now, again, this is my dream or premonition. Get away from me, stay away from me. And it said, I can get as close to you as I want, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mhm.
So at this point, the cemetery that I was being chased through, my brother and my husband were buried in the cemetery. And I knew that I was near my brother's grave. And I called out to my brother called his name saying, help me. And then the face was literally in my face. This is before I saw the photograph, in my face saying, he can't help you. No one can help you. You are now mine. And then I woke up and I was terrified, and I'm telling myself, this is crazy. This is crazy. Excuse me. So the next night when we were waiting for the team, I told Barbara and another teammate about the dream, and they were both, okay, well, it's going to be fine. You're probably just nervous. You're probably just scared. Then the team leader came in, and he and the second leader, that we had 2 team leaders, came in, walked right over to me and said to me, Julie, our psychic, her name was Deirdre, our psychic Deirdre saw your picture. She said she wanted she wanted to see a picture of the team. She pointed you out and said, who is that woman? And we told her, and she said, do not let her go in the cellar. And she did not know me. So that's when I proceeded to tell them my dream and what had taken place. So we went there. Of course, I had to go down to the cellar. But when I went into the cellar, at the end of the cellar was a big metal door, which I had seen in my dream. I probably forgot to tell that part. I was walking up some wooden stairs in the dream. I came face to face with this giant metal door. When I went through the metal door, that's when I was in the cemetery. I walked down there and I come face to face with the giant metal door that I had seen in my premonition or dream, whatever it was. And I remember telling David, that's the door that I saw. And so he said, Julie, for your safety, I can't let you go any further. And I said, that's fine. So I went back upstairs. And then I knew he was there. I just psychically knew that he was there. We had, I believe they had also called a priest in at the time. So there were 2 psychics and a priest, and then the team. And we're just trying to collect evidence and just make sure that the family stayed safe. But that was the most frightening thing that's happened to me. And it didn't physically happen to me, but psychically, that was probably the scariest situation that I've been in. And I had really just started to investigate at the time. I was only investigating 2 years maybe, so I didn't have a whole lot of experience in investigating at that point.
Do you find that you're more afraid by that stuff probably than the stuff that happens on an investigation that's physical? I mean, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We don't get afraid
Absolutely.
of EVPs or but
Or
it's that
things
kind of,
moving. It's like, I asked them, I asked to touch my hand or whatever, but
yeah.
I knew this man, my instincts told me that he was not a demon. He was not demonic. He was just an evil human being.
Yeah.
That's what it was, an
Bad person.
extremely evil human being, and turned into an evil spirit, basically. Yeah.
I'll tell you an interesting story, and I don't have a lot of those kinds of things because we've investigated, but nothing that's been really terrible. I mean, things are creepy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's an interesting thing, psychically. I mean, people know I was a funeral director for many, many years. And when things started to happen, even back then, I look back on it now and I think, oh God, of course, of course things were happening to me. And I didn't know what they were. And there were times I thought, well, maybe I'm just psychic, but I didn't think, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. But I would think of someone for some reason, and out of the blue, you'd be thinking of someone. And the next day I'd get a call that they passed away. And it happened so many times that it happened so many times that people used to joke with me, like, don't think about me, because
Right.
it was so common. But it's like when I do a reading, I know the information isn't mine because I've never thought of it before. It's the same way. You would just all of a sudden, oh, Mary so-and-so. I haven't thought about her in a long time. Next
Right.
day she's gone.
Yeah.
And I had a situation yesterday where I was thinking of this man and his business, and it was somebody that I knew back then, back in the day, and I thought about him, and I had not thought about him in years. And I opened the newspaper this morning, and he had passed, and it happened again, and I haven't had that happen since I left the funeral business. So, I mean, I've been out of that world a little bit, and perhaps I've missed people because I don't read the obituaries all the time. But for whatever reason, I went on to where I used to live and I looked at the obituaries and there he was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that used to happen an awful lot and was really kind of creepy. That'll creep you out when you think, not once, but after the 15th time,
Right. Right.
it starts
Right.
to creep you out a little bit. Like, why is this happening? What is it?
Right.
It's some sort of clairvoyance, some sort of premonition. And then when you don't understand what it is, it can be a little creepy.
That's it. And like you say, it's somebody that is not on your radar. So I don't
No.
need to worry because I'm on your radar. I'm like the pain in the ass that you hear from every day.
No, that's true. That's true. And but it's always somebody that I hadn't seen in a while, and all of a sudden I think about
Right.
him, and then boom.
Yep. exactly.
No, you should be safe.
I'm safe. I'm safe. Yeah. That's why I knew I was going to come out of this pneumonia thing just fine.
Oh my God. Scary though, how fast you can take a turn with that kind of thing, you know?
Man, yes. Saturday night I'm fine. Sunday I can't get out of bed and I'm calling an ambulance. Yeah. Damn.
Damn.
But here I am. Boom.
Oh my God.
I'm back.
Yeah. So, the other thing we were talking about creepy stuff. She's written a book, Michelle, on psychic vampires.
Yes. I
I was
really
really
wanted to
hoping to
ask
talk
her
with her
about
about
that.
that.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. She's also written a book that came out in 2020 called The Ghost Hunter's Guide to the Occult.
Oh.
Yeah, which you can actually, if you're on Amazon Prime, you
Mhm.
can, I'm sure she won't mind me telling people this, you can download it for free. It's one of those free
Oh,
borrow
really?
books, or you could purchase it. And I was reading some of it, and it's very, very interesting. And in the foreword that she wrote, she said the reason why she wrote this was it's basically for people doing paranormal investigations, but you should know about the occult, even if you're not interested in the occult, because you should know what you're looking at and seeing. If you're looking at sigils, you should know what they are. You should know what Wiccan
What is the
sinology is.
sigil? What is a sigil?
As far as I know, it's some sort of writing type thing. Now, I could be completely wrong, and I'm hoping someone in the audience will correct me. But when I think of a sigil, I think of something that has a meaning. Like a lot of people don't know, and you and I talked about this about a year or so ago when we were having dinner. We were talking about signs and things like that, and and I had mentioned to you as an example the swastika.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people don't know, or it wasn't common knowledge, was that the swastika itself is an extremely ancient symbol in, I don't remember the name of I don't want to say Arabic because I don't think it's Arabic, but it was basically a holy symbol. And then, of course, Hitler took anything holy and turned it around because
Right.
he was just, who he was, demon spawn, as I like to call him myself, basically.
Awful.
Yeah. But yes, Barbara, it sounds like it is a great resource, I think, for investigators. And like I say, you can download it for free on Amazon, or you could purchase it. I think I saw it, you could purchase it for $20. But I started to read it. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Christina says a sigil is a magic symbol created from the letters of a word.
Right.
Okay,
That's
so
what
it
she
is
said.
symbolism. Okay, great. Good to know. Yes.
She says she uses them all the time.
Oh, Christina, how do you use them?
She does, she has a lot of spells, and she's a green witch, and so she does
Christina,
things
are
like.
you a Wiccan? Is she a Wiccan?
Let's wait to see if she answers. I think.
Yes, wait, see if she answers. I was just wondering because I thought that Wiccans may have used sigils, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I love learning stuff. I love learning these new things. That's why we like doing this show. But
Well, so let's see. No.
Okay, Christina's a witch. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
So let's see between Wiccan and a witch. I thought Wiccan is the religion, right?
Yes.
A witch would be a Wiccan. Is that what it is? Wicca's a religion, right? That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Wiccan's a religion, and when you're a witch, you're just a witch, and I get that.
Okay, gotcha.
That makes sense.
Yes, exactly. You learn something new every day. You see, it's crazy.
I am going to see Christina on Friday. I want to see how she wiggles her nose and just kind of makes things happen. I tell you.
She's going to make you pay for that, Scott. She's going to make you pay for that one.
I know. We are going to have a good time. I can't wait.
Oh, let's see. All Wiccans are witches. Not all witches are Wiccans.
Then that makes sense. That makes sense, right? All Wiccans, because you have to be a witch to be a Wiccan. but you
Oh.
don't have to be a Wiccan.
I like that, Christina.
Mwah.
That's awesome. I don't know, Christina. Get him for the nose wiggle joke. Oh my goodness.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
Yeah, but
she's
I am
also,
fascinated by it because she and I have spoken, and I mean, she was on the show a while back too. She's
yes.
got a lot of stuff from her grandmother, or great grandmother. I think it might be her great grandmother, that used to do this, and so she's just sort of followed along. She had a great
Right.
teacher and a fantastic mentor.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
she does a lot of this, and she's going to, yeah, she's saying yes, and she's going to be at the mansion on Saturday. She has appointments open. I know she's booked some, but she has appointments open for different herbal remedies and consultations and that kind of thing. So if anybody's in the Fort Wayne area, I don't know where everybody's from that's listening, if you're in the Fort Wayne area this weekend and you want to check out Christina, she's great. For that matter, so she's part of the Solstice Sisters, and they were on our show a few weeks ago. You could check that out. But
Yep.
Christina and Kathy and Dana are all going to be there. Kathy is a healer, and she's also studying shamanism, but she's a healer primarily. Christina's the witch, and Dana's the medium, and I'm the large. That joke never gets old, Julie.
Yes. Yes,
It
Scott,
does.
it does. It really does.
Yes. You know.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
Oh
and
my
also
God.
the other thing I wanted to talk to Michelle about was she actually has a fiction series.
A fiction
A
series.
series, yes, of it's called Shadow Side Series. And I'm not sure there are 3 books in the series, I believe. Yeah, so I mean, she is most definitely she's got her fingers in a lot of
Those
pots.
are books. The series are
Yes,
there. Oh,
yes, they are books.
I've
Yes.
heard she's a great writer. I was talking with a friend of mine tonight that has followed her and is a huge fan and says,
Mhm,
she's
mhm.
really a fantastic writer as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh goodness.
I
Oh
just hope
gosh.
she's okay,
That I know it's a little
It
troubling.
doesn't seem, I don't know her well, but I don't think it sounds typical.
Absolutely. I
Something's awry,
agree. Right, right. I agree. That's why I'm the same thing. I'm hoping that everything's fine because, like you say, she did confirm. Um, so hoping it's just sort of some sort of computer glitch that she's stuck in.
You know what I thought of too is she probably saw our interview with Jeff Belanger and realized how bad you screwed up his name. And she says, I'm not letting that happen to me. So she didn't show up.
But I know that she says Belanger.
With Belanger, yes, I know. I don't
Belanger.
even know if that's what she calls said with him, neighbor, but
Well, she's not here to defend
Bellinger.
herself, so I'm just going to say Michelle Belanger. It's quite classy.
I think that's what she. Yes, it's very classy. That little
Yes,
slur on
absolutely.
the end.
Yes, yes. Oh
So,
gosh.
and we actually are investigating with Jeff Belanger. Uh, when
Oh,
is that?
stop it.
When,
Stop.
when when is that? When are we? We're going to see Jeff in a.
We're
Is it
going to
in
see
May?
Jeff on the USS Salem
Yeah, is
in
it in
May.
May? It's
May.
in
I
May.
think
Yeah.
it's Saturday the 13th, I think it is. And he's going to give a little bit of a talk, and then we're doing an investigation. I think the tickets are sold out for that, but
I
I'm
think they
looking
are
forward to it.
now. Yeah,
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
that'll be
When
good.
was the
And
last time we were on it?
what's that?
When was the last time we were on the Salem? It was a while ago now, wasn't it?
Last year.
I think it was about a year ago.
Well,
Yes.
we were there after we had an investigation after the Paracon. We were on the ship for
We
that,
did. We
and
did.
then I think we were on for a private investigation after that, and
Was
that
that
was
the,
it.
yes, was that the investigation with James and Carl?
I
James
didn't
and
think
Eno and
so. I thought it was just our group, but maybe honestly,
oh, our private investigation. Yes, I think we did after that. Yes.
yeah, I think it was just us.
That's true.
That's a
That's true.
creepy place to investigate.
It is. And I've learned my lesson. Watch your toes when chasing elementals. You know, my
Yes.
big toe did me in. Big toe fractured the shoulder. Yep.
Made for great stories at the emergency room.
It really did. First off, they looked at me like, okay.
Wow, you're
And
white. You look like you've seen a ghost.
I said, no, it was an elemental.
It was an
Elementals
elemental.
have never been a human spirit. And they were just kind of, and he said, so how did you do this? And I said, well, I don't know if you're familiar with the USS Salem, but I said, I stubbed my toe while I was chasing an elemental through the USS Salem. And he looked at me and he's like, so what is an elemental? I said, well, you may call it a ghost. However, it's never been in human form. And he's like, she's crazy. Psych eval. He said, that's very interesting. But then I started telling, he said, so do you do this often? I said, break my shoulder. And he's kind of like, no. So we started chatting and, then we talked about the ghost shows. Then before we knew it, as I was sitting there waiting for my x-ray, my hospital escort comes in, opens the drape and says, are you my ghost hunter? I said, yes, I am. So it was a night. It was a night. And
it was. And, at first we thought, well, I could tell something was wrong because you were starting to get sweaty, sweaty and shaking. And
that
it was like you were going
sweat.
into shock, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was going into shock, and Barbara, who was with us, kept saying to me, "Are you sure you're okay? I will drive you to the emergency room." And I was like, "I'm fine. I'm fine. I can't move this arm, but I'm fine." And I investigated for 30 minutes after that. I am very proud to say, until I realized I think I'm in shock, and I just quietly turned to Barbara and I said, "I think I need to go to the emergency room." And so poor Barbara didn't get a chance to investigate that night because she was driving Julie to the emergency room.
Thank God you had a driver and
yes,
didn't need to leave the car there. And, we did end up getting back again, but that was what an awful, and you and I were supposed to go to Las Vegas right after that.
Yes.
And that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. No,
that's when we were going to investigate Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, which I did do, by the way.
I gave my ticket to your cousin. Your cousin met you there, so I gave my ticket to her. Yes,
that's right too. She went. That's right. Yeah, she did go, and that was if you ever get a chance to go to Vegas, say what you want about Zach Bagans, but the museum is fascinating. Really fascinating.
I hope to get there to see that. I do. Yes.
I don't know how haunted it is, like anything else, it can be, maybe it's hot or cold, but but it was just fascinating. All the artifacts that he's amassed in that location is incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. That's what I'm excited to, I hope that I will be able to get there, and see this stuff.
Crystal Thomas, who was on our show 2 weeks ago. She lives out that way and she's invited us. We just have to pick a date and go. So we'll have a chance to go to Las Vegas at some point. I don't know what we'll do in Las Vegas. There's really not much to do there.
I guess I could check out the slot machines.
When we're not ghost hunting and all the other stuff.
Let's see. Last time I was in Las Vegas, I was with my daughter who literally had to drag me away from the slot machines. I was winning. What can I say? You know how that goes.
It's better there. And I like going downtown too, because sometimes even downtown, you win even a little bit more than you do up on the strip. It's just a little bit closer and you can bounce around from one place to another. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. It was a fun place. Yeah. So that'll be a good time. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. I don't know if Crystal's watching, but
she is doing something. She's going to have some sort of an open public investigation at a mine, I believe it is.
Okay.
A ghost town and a mine. Yeah. She said it's about an hour outside of Las Vegas. Barbara, another memorable evening. Glad to be able to help and that you healed up nicely. Thank you, Barbara.
Oh my God.
Oh, Barb, the things that we've done over the past 15 years, right?
Well, and when you think about it, so we were supposed to go to Las Vegas and you broke your shoulder. We were
Yes.
supposed to go to Disney and you got sick. We were supposed to go, well, we did go to Scotland, but you came back with COVID.
At least I
mean,
made it to Scotland.
You did make it anyway, you
Yes.
know?
Oh gosh.
Oh, Eric Hartwig. Hello. Yeah, it's
I don't know. Are you the jinx? I don't know what's going on.
you know,
I'm telling you, I was healthy as anything until
until she met me.
there you go. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we'll have to plan that because I think that'd be a fun event heading down to
Oh,
Vegas.
absolutely. Yeah, I think definitely we'll put it out to the people.
And it's a whole different ball of wax. But you get, the thing is, we're here in the Northeast, there's a lot of great stuff around, but you do them over and over again. And after a while, it's like, okay, you get to do something new and it's sort of exciting because you don't know what to expect or where to go or what's active where,
Yep, exactly. Yep, it's going to be fun. And Barbara and I are taking the Alaska cruise the end of June into July. And of course, one of the stops, it's just a regular cruise. One of the stops that, one of the excursions that we're going to take is we take the train up to White Pass, which is supposed to be pretty cool. But then we get onto a little bus and they take us through the town and we end at the Red Onion Saloon, which is one of the most haunted spots in Alaska.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And it's said that, upstairs, it was a brothel. The building still stands the way it was. Upstairs was a brothel, and one of the ladies hung herself in the brothel. And it's said that she is seen in the brothel. As people go up there, you can tour it. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, next time we have a guest that doesn't show up, I'll have to play my video or audio from the brothel you and I went to in the Shanley Hotel up on the second floor.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
We got some unbelievable EVPs. Oh my God. Amazing. Talking about everything. Oh, your beautiful eyes and crazy stuff. Yeah,
then it turned out he was a crazy killer,
He was a crazy killer. But that's another place we need to get back to. The Shanley Hotel is just off the charts, and the whole first part of the night, nothing. Get up on the third floor, it went nuts. It was crazy.
I'm telling you, yeah. And I went to sleep.
And you went to sleep.
And I went to sleep, and then they mimicked my voice.
Mimicked your voice. That's fascinating too, by the way. That's a whole other thing,
Yes.
So we have about a minute and a half left. I'm really sad that Michelle didn't come on the show, but I'll reach out. I'm sure she'll reach out when she realizes what happened, or she'll reach out when she gets, I still don't have a clue.
Right.
I don't know what happened, but I'm sure she'll reach out and we'll try to get her on a show maybe in the fall,
Oh,
we are taking
absolutely. Yes.
we are taking a hiatus for the summer.
Yes, we are going on hiatus for the summer so that we can go to cool places and come back and tell everyone about them. So for this short time we have, Scott, why don't you tell people about Bell Mansion and what you're going to be doing there?
Yeah, Bell Mansion. So this is great. So Friday night and Saturday, there's an opening ceremony on Friday night at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then on Saturday, there's a metaphysical fair. I'm doing readings all day long. I'm booked out. Dana's, I think, booked out, or she's got a couple open. I'm not sure. And then Christina, who we've been chatting with tonight, has openings for her herbal remedies. And Kathy has openings for her healings. And then Dana and I are doing a gallery event at 3:00. So that's great. It's only $40 for the gallery, $5 to get in for the metaphysical fair. And then there's an investigation on Saturday night that we are leading of the beautiful Bell Mansion. So anyway, it's time to cut out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week with Ryan O'Neill from Haunted Scotland. Maybe.
Fingers crossed, everyone.
Fingers crossed. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
You have been listening to The Paranormal Project with Scott Allen and Julie Finn. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. While you're there, leave us a rating and review so others can find out about the show. Stay haunted and go out there and explore the paranormal.